Welcome back to Ask a Foster Parent Anything. Today I want to slow my roll a little bit, and first of all I want to welcome those foster parents who are new, who live in New Zealand, who may be watching this videotape as part of their training. I had to put that plug in there. And I think it's awesome. But let me say that question all the things I talk about, is we should always question authority or question people's opinions. Just like in anything, there's always a flip side to it all. So as you foster, talk to as many people as possible who've been doing this work and use them as your resource. People who are already doing this, you'll be surprised how talented and skilled some of these people are. There's a saying that says, well researched, well written, well regarded. I saw an awesome show last night called Bones. This show really covered almost every single aspect of foster care. Just about every single aspect. And so in my opinion, it was a well-researched and well-written television show, and probably one of the best Bones episodes I've ever seen. I'm a fan of the show, and it's not because welfare, social services, and foster care are important issues for me. It is just simply a well-written show. Now you've got to know that Bones is a forensic anthropologist at the Jeffersonian Institute. Now I'm from Washington D.C. originally, and I don't know that place to actually exist. But what she does, the FBI turns to her to help them resolve murder mysteries that, or help them resolve how a person might have died when there's nothing left but the bones, or they're so badly disfigured. Now, Bones, the anthropologist, was in foster care. So she's defending this girl to some degree, because everyone else believes the foster girl did it. And even at some point, well, I don't want to give away the plot in case you see a rerun of the show. But there are many subplots in the show, so it's important that you know this. They talk about teenagers in foster care who run away. They talk about people's perception of children in foster care. They talk about some of the culture of foster care. For example, there were teens who write on their arms the names of all the foster homes that they've been in. Now I got to tell you, I was watching that and I thought about a young man who went by the nickname Red, who is in prison right now, but he was in about 91 foster homes. And that's a lot. He's been in foster homes since birth. Something that I think everybody's working on, trying to stop that madness. He'd have no space in his arm, although he does have tattoos of girlfriends and babies. Now, one of the other thing that they didn't talk about on the show that I thought was hilarious, there are kids who don't necessarily tattoo their arm, but they write their name and carve their name in your furniture to let others know that they've been in your foster home. Great show. I'm getting a lot of comments on the video blogs, and that's good. And I like the comments that I'm getting. People are probably much more comfortable sending me emails as opposed to comments down below the video blog here. But that's okay too. The comments that I'm getting is generally sometimes you're right. Thank you for posting your comments, and thank you for saying what I feel. And I also get that you're right, but here's a flip side. And I haven't gotten any "you are wrong" kind of comments, because I'm talking from my experience. It's almost hard to say that I'm wrong. I may be wrong as to why I feel the way I do, but my experience is my experience, and I say this all the time in conferences that I attend. When people want to tell me, they're usually professionals who will tell me that that's not the way it is, because that's not what their policy is. But we all know that there's policy and then there's practice. And there's what child welfare people now call best practice. because we know the old practice wasn't working. Okay? And we also don't use that term in the best interest of the child anymore. It's done, it's overplayed, it's overused, and it's fallen to that whole vernacular of sayings that over a period of time in every generation that we say because it's easier to communicate with each other, and we understand what the saying means, but at some point it gets a little old. So we don't say in the best interest of the child as much as we say best practice. And we also don't say the best interest of the child anymore, because we now know, now that a lot of those kids have grown up from the 80s, we didn't do the things that were really truly in their best interest. In the show Bones, by the way, and I'm going to be all over the place in this particular video blog, as I usually am, one of the subplots is that the girlfriend has a younger brother who's in foster care. And more than anything, and I think it's an overall theme of the movie, of the TV show, more than anything, he's afraid that he's going to be split from his sister, and so that they will stay together. She, on the other hand, she wants to protect him as well. And sometimes she thinks that her actions is doing that. We've taught, you know, in one of these video vlogs I talked about how we write teenagers off. And I said in that video blog that teenagers feel this. So she believes that she has to leave. She's writing herself off. She's believing the stuff that, I guess, in foster care we are demonstrating to her. A lot of kids are like this. They write themselves off. This is how come they get into a lot of trouble with the law. Nobody cares about them. Why should they care about themselves? This is what they're saying to themselves. It may not be right, but they're saying to themselves, nobody cares about me. Why should I care about myself? It really is hard to think like they do unless you're in their shoes, or you, much like myself, you spend a lot of time with them and listening to how they speak. And putting a lot of energy into pumping them up and raising and lifting their self-esteem. A lot of good things are happening. I'm so excited. One of our politicians invited me to come to our state capitol to speak about foster care. That is such an honor. I am so blown away by that. Able to participate in some dialogue about foster care in our state here in California. And that is always a good thing. Dialogue. That is one of the reasons why I'm doing these video blogs. I'm doing them because there just needs to be dialogue about foster care. And for me, this is my selected venue. I find myself, I don't play well with others. I say that all the time. And I've gone to lots of conferences and meetings and participated in many discussions. And it is an honor. I've been invited to speak at the top of some of those organizations, and it really feels good to be selected to do so. But I just found this is a way to get to the masses. And so the person who emailed me, you're absolutely right, this is a good venue to just speak my mind and say the things I need to say, and to help get that dialogue out there about foster care. I am sure at this point I'm just way over my minute, so there will be some serious editing on this vlog. I'm going to step on some people's toes, and I'm going to have my haters. We always do. But if anything, if we can start talking about foster care and how the kids and children in foster care feel, I think people will get a better understanding about it. I know that the federal government is giving some waivers, and most of you don't know what that means, but somewhere along the line, federal governments actually gave states money to put kids in foster care.